Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Alice, Sarah, and Dave, Scott, Terry, Christine. We got people joining us here. I kicked us off a couple of seconds early. Looks like we just hit the top of the hour. Chris, in 1 minute here, we're going to dive in and we're going to have a discussion today about artificial intelligence, large language models, chat GPT, some of the tools that are coming out in real estate for you. Alice, there's tools I'm going to talk about that you could go and sign up for free right now. There's stuff in here that is part of Brivity that I'm going to mention. If you're a current Brivity customer, some of these things you got your hands on right now, some of them are just around the corner. They're in the last stages of being tested. If you're not a Brivity client, there's tools that you'll potentially have access to if you decided to have the Brivity platform power your business. My name is Bob Stewart. Let's go ahead and jump in here today. And so we're going to be talking artificial intelligence, but my plan for today is to just make sure we're all kind of on the same page about what we're talking about here, and then give you a little hint or maybe showcase to you why we are so all in on artificial intelligence. Then I'm going to take us through a couple of kind of lanes that we're starting to see products in real estate being developed. And then I'm going to give you guys a whole bunch of tools that we think are cool, things that we see agents using, that we've used on some of our place teams and some of our place partners are using. And then we'll make sure along the way that you guys have a chance to, if you want to get more information about Brivity, we'll make that really easy for you. So artificial intelligence, here's the, I don't know if it's the dictionary definition, it's probably the Wikipedia one. But basically, it's how do we make computers think like humans at its very core. And what most of the tools that we are using today are running on top of what they call these LLMs, or large language models. And this was really the breakthrough in the last couple of years, and kind of the way we all learned about it was chat GPT. But this is this idea that computers can speak like humans. Their processing power has gotten to a point where these large language models now can actually think, talk, reply like a human. Now, why has this been such a big deal recently? And I think this graphic does a really good job of kind of highlighting where we're at with this technology. So it took 16 years, and you guys all have one, I know for a fact, right? But it took 16 years for 100 million of us here on the planet to get our hands on a mobile phone. 16 years. Today, every single one of you guys have one. I got one. It's sitting right here next to my desk. For social, Instagram. And think about this. Instagram wasn't the first social network, right? Facebook had been around for a long time. Twitter had been around, right? Social networks had risen and fallen. MySpace had come and gone by the time Instagram launched. But when Instagram launched, it took them 2.5 years to get to 100 million users. And obviously the punchline sitting right here on the slide. Chat GPT got to 100 million users in 2 months. Now, I would pretend that the mobile revolution, the social revolution, these things set the stage and the foundation for Chat GPT to get released, and for all of us within a few days or a month or two, right, to look around and go, oh, what's this thing? Because we can access it on our mobile phone. We're hearing about it on the socials. Our friends are talking about it. But this has exploded. The usage of ChatGPT is nothing like we've ever seen in the tech space, at least in the last 20 years and at least here in real estate. Now, What you guys think about this? If you're not a Chat GPT user, this won't apply to you, but I am. I've started using Chat GPT, and I was thinking about this the other day. I used to be somebody that went to Google 20, 30, 40 times a day. Like I was just always there. Today, I still make those queries. I make those queries on ChatGPT. It's actually very rare today that I go to Google. Is anybody like check in on the chat for me, you guys? Is anybody acting in a similar way that to what I'm doing? Are you guys using Chat GPT? Like I think about it, I did this last night. I was reading this silly thing on the internet that was talking about a threat, a death threat that had been sent to Mickey Mantle in the 1950s before a game when they were going to play the Boston Red Sox. And the threat basically said, like, don't show up, don't play in this game, we're going to kill you, blah, blah, blah. And so I wanted to see what did Mickey Mantle do that day? Because in the letter, the guy had said, I got tickets for September 7th. Blah, blah. And so I just went to ChatGPT and I said, what was Mickey Mantle's box score on September 7th? 1956 when they played the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park, and that thing just spit me back. Boom. Like in seconds, I had his box score. Most of the things I do in Chat GPT, I probably could find answers for, but it might not be on the first website. It's going to be digging deep. I got to get to the web page and then pick it off of there myself. So there's this massive shift to people using Chat GPT. So what does that mean then for real estate? Let's go through and talk about some of the lanes where we're already seeing AI starting to make a play into how you guys are operating your business. We've got this kind of improved efficiency in following up with leads or managing our business with these chatbots or virtual assistants. Some of these things are baked in to our CRMs. For example, inside of Brivity, the help functionality in there has a whole bunch of AI that when you start to ask it a question, it goes and it's deep into our knowledge base and it's bringing you back answers because we have an AI layer sitting on top of our knowledge base. It used to be that a search inside of your CRM would give you a bunch of results and you'd have to click in there and figure out where the answer was. But today, more and more, these AIs are functioning as searches inside of our stuff. I think the chat bots that can proactively go out and reach out and talk to your leads, those are going to be and already are becoming some of the first kind of AIs that you guys are getting your hands on that are helping you take consumers through the sales funnel. But imagine that AI who's talking to that consumer starting to ask them the questions that begins to qualify them. We have a chatbot inside of Brivity that's just about to launch to everybody. Right now, it's being tested by about 400 teams. And that thing, it will go through the process of LP Mama, which is a framework for a conversation with a consumer where we're trying to collect certain data from them. Where do they work? Where do they live currently? How long have they lived there? Think about appointment scheduling. It's not going to be too far into the future where you guys aren't having to, nobody is managing appointments on our listings anymore. It's all being done by an AI. And when somebody reaches out to set an appointment, the AI will reach out to your seller. It'll reach out to you. It'll update the showing time or whatever. So some of these things are happening now. Some of these things are actively being developed. Some of these things are showing up in the products that you use already. Predictive analytics. Brivity's parent company just purchased a company called Remind. Remind sits on a massive amount of data about every home in the United States. And what we've been able to do with all of that data at Remind is go out and start to make predictions about which homes we think are most likely to sell. Remind will give you we believe these are the top 5% of the homes in any given market. that we think are going to sell, right? And it's based on things like their kids are 18 and heading off to college and they live in a 3,000 square foot house and they've lived here for 20 years and they've actually paid this thing off. And that person's a lot more likely to move than the guy that just bought his house a year ago and he just had his kids, right? That family, they're not going to move for 13 years. And when you're spending marketing dollars, let's say in an environment like where you're doing direct mail, for example, I don't want my dollar postcard to end up on that guy's, in the mailbox of the guy who just bought a year ago. I want to focus my marketing dollars towards the person that's more likely to sell. We have a tool called Area Pro. Area Pro is a tool that takes all of the market data from your MLS and it has a layer of AI that sits over the top of it. This helps people make more informed decisions. I'll give you an example of something that Area Pro can do. Because it's sitting on all of your MLS data, so what that is, it's a large language model. Let's call it Chat GPT. It could be Grok. There's a few others out there, right? Those are the two most popular ones we all hear about all the time. But what happens is companies like ours can take other data and we can augment these large language models with additional data. So in the case of Area Pro, we augment the large language model with your MLS data. So think about this. Sean Anderson, the co-founder of Area Pro, Sean's a real estate agent in Idaho Falls, Idaho. And the Anderson Hicks team, they sell about 450 homes a year up in Idaho Falls. I didn't even know there was that many houses in Idaho Falls, you guys, but there are. And Sean and Mike sell them all, or them and their team do. So Sean, at any given time, he might have a whole bunch of listings. And you guys know, every once in a while, you take one that's overpriced and you got to eventually convince that seller, if they really want to get it sold, to drop the price. Well, what Sean does today is he just goes into his Area Pro and he types in there and he says, I got a listing. It's been on the market for 93 days. We've had 7 showings and 0 offers. The home is 2,800 square feet. It's at 123 Main Street. I need to convince this seller that his home is overpriced using market data from today and acting as a 25-year veteran in real estate. Please write me an email using the current market data to explain to this seller why it would be in their best interest to drop the price, and please suggest to me what the price should be. Now, you can't do that on just a regular large language model because the data on those things is trailing. It is not sitting on up-to-the-minute data like Area Pro is, because we're piping in that augmented data to help you and your seller, in this case, make a more informed decision. Some of the big institutional type investors, the BlackRock, Stone peoples of, these companies that are out buying thousands of homes a year, they are making a lot of these investment decisions based on these large language models augmented with massive amounts of data. It's giving them a competitive advantage. Now, we don't necessarily have access to the amounts of data that a company like a BlackRock or Blackstone or whatever those big companies are called. But somebody like a Remind that we own does. Area Pro, it doesn't have it for everywhere, but it's got it for your MLS. We can start to become better decision makers. We can start to become more kind of lean with our marketing dollars. This is going to hit you guys really soon. Some of your products are already starting to do elements of that. I don't know if any of you guys have ever fed a contract into ChatGPT and asked it to act like a trained attorney in contract law, and please point out any red flags inside of this contract. Simply from a compliance, a legal checks standpoint, but even like things like reducing errors, if I've got my CRM and it's hooked up to my DocuSign and now I'm about to kick that contract out, but something doesn't match up in there, and AI is going to be able to see that and go, we made a little mistake here. A lot of these things are going to emerge here. They're already starting to emerge. I think most of it for us, we should think about around the idea of improving the client experience and making myself more efficient. And that's the lens through which we look at all of our AI decisions. Because there's a lot of things you could do and build and go out and get and play with and shiny objects. But for us, it's, will this thing improve the experience for my client? We at Place, we own a mortgage company called Envoy, and one of the things we're working on right now is an AI process to take the loan application from the consumer. But we want it to be an awesome experience, a great one, maybe even better than sitting for 30 minutes on the phone with the loan officer. We want to improve the client experience. The other thing we want to do is we want to make ourselves more efficient. So if our loan officer, if our real estate agent didn't have to be on the phone for those 20-minute conversation, we instead, the AI collected all that information and now we reached out to the consumer and we had all of that baseline information. Wouldn't the next 20 minutes of the call be even more efficient? Virtual property tours. We're talking things like, you know, 24-hour access to the home, and the Matterport 360 is becoming even cheaper because we've got these large models in the background that can make these things more affordable. I don't know if you guys remember when Matterport came out, but the price on that is plummeting. And there's other tools today now where you can use your phone as an app and go walk around a house and get a 3D tour, and it's pennies on the dollar for what a Matterport would have been years ago. This is where I think a lot of us are going to start seeing things really soon. We're already starting to see things inside of Brivity, whether it be, lead scoring, or whether it be AI help me write functionality to go in and say, I don't know, look at this lead for me, Mr. AI robot, and tell me what I should say to this person next and try to get him to meet with me. We're using this right now. I mean, look, to me, the epitome of this is Facebook, right? Their AI models and their advertising models are absolutely using AI to go figure out for you who's the best person that I should drop this message to. We're doing this on data when you guys send direct mail out of Brivity. If you guys do a direct mail piece out of Brivity and you have a just listed, just sold, something like that, maybe you have an open house coming up this weekend and you want to market to that area, we're not going to send it to the guy who just bought a year ago, who's got the small kids. We're going to send it to the person that's lived there for 15 years, and we know that their kids just graduated, they're heading out of the house, and they're probably going to be in downsize mode here in the next 6 to 12 months. You can really start to optimize your marketing dollars when the tools you use are helping you make decisions on who to target. We've got the Facebook ad tool built right into Brivity. So we're leveraging Facebook's knowledge of their audience, but there's also some AI written or into that tool that can help you write the ad. So whenever I help one of our teams write an ad, I'll do, by the way, your ability to prompt AI matters. Like in the same way that all of us know how to get what we want on Google by doing searches in a certain way, it's going to matter with AI and prompting these large language models. So I don't just go in there and say, hey, help me write a Facebook ad. I say, acting as a world-class marketer, the best to ever do it, help me write an ad for this property that showcases, the lifestyle of living on Capitol Hill. I use that as an example because I actually did that recently. My wife and I unloaded an investment property here in Seattle. Well, we tried to. We ended up re-renting it. But during the process of having it listed, I was writing my own Facebook copy for the ads. No, I wasn't writing it. I was asking a large language model to help me go out and write it. And then I would use that ad tool and subsequently go target different areas. And then Facebook goes and uses AI to figure out who in their audience would be the best person that might want to see this condo on Capitol Hill. Our Gabby AI, that's what we call her, Gabby. She is positioned right now on thousands of leads for these 400 teams that we're testing her out with. We're really close to rolling it out for everybody at Brivity. She does some really amazing things. Fact, she sits on the entire MLS in her head. Give you an example of a conversation she had with a customer at one point with a lead. And this is a lead that a year prior to her being applied, to the AI being applied to this lead, a year prior, the lead had been in a real conversation with a real agent. And you guys will all, Tracy Sloan, I know you would never do this, but Q3 and 4, Tracy, you're going to start to see a whole bunch of these things. Tracy, if you reach out to me direct, it's Bob at Brivity or Bob at benkinney.com, Bob at Brivity. Shoot me a quick email. I might be able to get you early access to a few of these things I'm talking about today. But the agent had been working the lead a year previous to that, Tracy. And so what happened was the last thing that the lead said to the agent was, we'd really love to do it this year, but I got this thing I'm still working on my credit. It's a little, and then we're not quite there for our down payment. And so, shockingly enough, Chris Clark, guess what? The agent didn't even reply. They didn't work that lead anymore. They were like, trash, next lead, right? It's somebody with bad credit and no down payment. They just moved on. We applied the AI a year later. When the AI reached out to that lead, and this is via text, the AI said, hi, Jen, we noticed that about a year ago you'd been talking with Chris, and we were just reaching out to see how's it been going. Now, look, in a perfect world, they would have a year prior to that, introduced them to their lender, got them hooked up with somebody that could help them with their credit, right? But that agent didn't do that. So Gabby said, how's it been going saving for that down payment? And the lady replied pretty much immediately, like that day, a year later, and said, not as good as we'd hoped. But we did get that thing on our credit taken care of, and we've actually got a pretty good credit score. So because this AI knew something about that lead, it addressed the lead properly, but it knew something else about the lead. It knew what they'd been looking at, Tracy, on the website of that agent. It knew that this lady had been looking at properties in Puyallup, Washington. So the next thing the AI did, it kind of blew us away. We didn't train it to do this, but after talking to the lady, her saying, I got good credit now, but no down payment still, knew she was looking in Puyallup, Washington, because that AI sits on all of the data from the Northwest MLS here in Western Washington. It went and looked at all the properties in Puyallup, and it found 2 properties, and it sent them to the lady. And it said, hey, would you be interested in a down payment assistance program? Check out these 2 properties. Guys, what had happened was the agent who was marketing those properties, who had them listed, in the marketing remarks that get pushed out over the IDX feed, and they were on this agent's website, there were 2 listings in Puyallup, Washington that had said in the marketing remarks, ask about our down payment assistance program. The AI found those 2 listings, thought, oh, well, she doesn't have a down payment. These listings talk about a down payment. Let's send her those 2 listings. That's smart property recommendations if I've ever seen them. By the way, the reason I know about this is because the agent called me and was like, what is she talking about? Because he didn't go look at the listings. If he would have looked at the listings and read the marketing remarks from the agent, the property description, he would have saw maybe what she was talking about. But I had our team go figure out, why did she send these 2? And our developer was like, oh, it was because it said the thing she was asking for. 99% of agents wouldn't have done that. AI can help us in a lot of ways. Automated property valuations, we're already doing this inside of Brivity. You got your market report tool set up. We can do these automated property valuations. We're taking these large valuation models from different places. We're augmenting them with existing like up to the minute MLS details to make that automated valuation model even stronger. But think about, you know, AI enhancing your CMA tool. We're not there yet, but we will be really soon, right? You go through and do the CMA and there's an AI layer waiting there and helping you, and all of a sudden you think you're done, and the AI layer is like, what about this property that's really similar to some of these comps that you already have in there? Again, as I think and I go back to Area Pro, that tool that we talked about where Sean Anderson just asked Area Pro to use a large language model augmented with MLS data to make sure that, by the way, anybody could go get Area Pro today. You don't even have to be a Brivity client. Lead scoring. We've got a little lead scoring concept. We've never rolled it out. Remind, the product we just acquired, they've got a property scoring mechanism that scores every property in the United States. Okay, let's talk about some specific tools that you guys can use. There's lots of lanes, and you guys are already seeing it. AI is already developing. It's going to move really fast. It's moving fast. You know, we're still not as far out as Instagram with these large language models, right? We're not 2.5 years into this even yet. Okay, this is the number one. I think probably everybody on here has used this already. If you haven't, go. Have it write your next property description. Have it answer questions that clients ask you, and you're like, I know the answer, but man, it's going to take me 15 minutes to type that answer out. We use this to help us. Everything inside of Brivity has this help me write functionality that can help you write a better text, write a better email, and you can go in there and say to it, I feel really bad. I haven't reached out to my past client in over a year, but I'd like to invite them to an event that I've got going on. Write the email, striking a very apologetic tone, but make it kind of funny at the end. Let them know I'm sorry, but I'd like to invite them to my thing. It'll kick you out what you need. You just got to learn how to prompt it. And I think for all of us, we've got to learn how to become better prompters of these large language models to get exactly what I want. You guys are all using this. I mean, this thing is just over the top insane. I'm saving massive hours every single week simply by having ChatGPT help me do things that I got to get done anyway. Here's our version of it. We call it Gabby. It's help me write. It's inside of Brivity, and it's everywhere that you go. If you're going to write an email, it's there. If you're going to do an auto plan, it's there. If you're going to write a Facebook message or a Facebook ad, it's there. Use it. But you got to know how to prompt it. Inside of Brivity Marketer, which is our marketing engine, which has direct mail. It's got the Facebook ad tool. It's got the ability for you to have Brivity Recruiter, which if you have a team and you're looking to add agents is an awesome tool. The Brivity Recruiter tool uses AI to write job ads that then get piped out to all the major job boards, Indeed, Monster, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter. In our mailing piece inside of Brivity Marketer, we're using AI to figure out who to send your mail to. You can just go in there and say, here's my listing. That's the template I want. And then we go, how many you want to send? And you go, I want to send 300. And we say, okay, we got you. You don't have to figure out who to send it to. We'll figure it out, and we're going to use AI to go figure out what are the best houses around that listing to send it to. We use AI to help you guys create property videos out of your still motion photos. You can use the AI back there to help write a better description for your ad or your flyer or whatever it is. So it's hooked up to your MLS. Every property's there. All you got to do is figure out the template you want, add the property in, and if there's a reason or a need to use AI to adjust the wording on that thing that you created, have at it. Some simple ones. I don't know. Sometimes I want to take a 2D floor plan if I was representing a builder and I want to turn it into a 3D version. And I used to have to pay $135 to do that. And then the price came down to 50. And now I can go to get floor plan and I can get it for really, really cheap, pennies on the dollar. Why? Because the processing power is out of control and everybody is trying to build the next good one of these. Easy stuff. Like you can literally do it from a drawing. Like you got a tape measure and a pen. Cool. You can create 3D, layouts of your listing. That's kind of cool. Reimagine home. This I really thought I thought Zillow would already have this where we could get our Zillow goggles and I could put them on and I could just look around my house and I could be like, I want to turn that wall green. And then it would show me what that wall looked like green, right? Or I'm like, I want to get a new leather couch in here. What would that look like? But I can do that with my listing photos. Maybe it looks really crowded outside. And, there's rules in your MLS. And I think you need to make sure that this is what it could look like type of a photo. But virtual staging, there's companies that, 2 years ago, you'd pay $200 a listing to virtually stage. Now you can go to things like Reimagine Home and you can do it yourself if you wanted to. Flicky. So I ran a massive blogging network in real estate for a number of years back in like the late 2000s, early 2010s called Active Rain. There's millions of blog posts have been written on there by, tens of thousands of real estate agents over a couple of decades. Couple of the people that I know that spent pretty large amount of time in 2005, 6, 7, 8 creating this evergreen real estate content for their market, blog posts about neighborhoods and businesses and subdivisions and apartment or condo complexes. And they've been using this Flicky to turn their content from their blogs into these videos with like voice overlays that they can go share in their stories now or put on their LinkedIn, or they're just repurposing content that they created 10, 12, 15 years ago that's still good. That condo complex didn't change. Maybe they update the HOA dues in there or something. Flicky, I can take content I've written in the past if I was ever a blogger back when that was super popular and everybody was doing it. Opus. This, like, if any of you guys, if you ever have hired a professional photographer to come in and do like a shoot on your listing, and you get back from them at the end this 5-minute video walkthrough with the drone tour, and the drone comes down and flies through the house and all that. And now you've got this like 5-minute video at the end that you're really proud of, and you actually spent some money to use it. Go use Opus Clip to cut it up into short shareable clips that you can post on your Facebook and your Instagram. And if you're young and hip, your TikToks. Opus, super easy to use. Tracy Sloan, this is the one that I mentioned. About 400 of our Ben's place partners are testing this out right now. We really got to get this right because we don't want to put it in your hands, Tracy, and have it say something to a consumer that could get you in trouble or sued or, so this is really, really close. But this is that bot that you said you've been building separately for this AI follow-up bot. We call her Brivity, or I'm sorry, we call her Gabby. She's an ISA. She's really good. You put her on the lead and she goes to work. And she's trained on LP Mama and she has the entire MLS on her head and she can set up listing alerts for people, or she could edit the listing alert they already have going. She can send them properties from your website. By the way, the click-through rate on the properties she sends to people is ridiculously high because every time she sends them one, she puts a little note in there about why she thinks they might like it. It's like, ooh, check out this one. It's got a big backyard. Check out this one. It's got a fence around the yard. Excuse me. When the consumer gets to a point where they're at the last A in LP Mama, if you know what LP Mama means, it's just a framework for a conversation where I'm trying to figure out location. Where do they want to live? Or where's the house they're thinking about selling? Price. Do they have a budget? Have they talked to a mortgage person? What's their motivation here for moving? Are they working with an agent? That last A in LP Mama, if you know it, you know it, is appointment. That's what she's angling for. Tracy, if she gets them to the verge of an appointment where they're like, yeah, we'd like to see that house on Saturday, she'll say, awesome. Is it okay if I have Tracy give you a call just to confirm that appointment? If they say yes, she'll call you, Tracy, and you just answer. She'll say, are you ready to talk to XYZ? They'd like to see a house on Saturday at 3 o'clock. And you go, yep, press one. And now you're talking to them. Tracy, reach out to me. I might be able to get your hands on that a little bit earlier than everybody else. We'll see. Mid Journey. This one, you take text and an image, it'll generate like these images out of text. Super easy. The first time I used this, I didn't know what to do with it. I was so overwhelmed when Roberto showed it to me. Roberto leads our AI efforts here at Brivity. He's like, check this out. Like, you can just type in anything, it'll make a picture. And I'm like, really? And so I think what I wanted, what I wanted was a picture. What I wanted was it for it to create me a shoe, like a Jordan tennis shoe, where the design on the shoe was like a beach feel. Like, I don't know why in my head, the first time I ever tried to make, that's what I like shoes. And I think he might have sent it to me when I was on vacation with my family in Hawaii. So I was like, oh, I want to do a pair of Jordans. If I was just sitting here with them up, right? They'd look really cool if they had palm trees and stuff on them. And then I did the prompt and it was garbage. Like, what it gave me back was garbage. Because I said, create me a pair of Jordans with design on a beach. Like, I did it wrong. And so it was the beach. It was a pair of Jordans, like, and they weren't even really Jordans, but they were sitting on the beach. And I'm like, that's not what I wanted because my prompt stunk. So I went back, I made a better prompt. I don't know why you'd ever want to create the Loch Ness monster swimming under the Hudson George River Bridge, but I bet you could think of some things that you would want to create marketing collateral for. There's lots of those image generators out there now. In fact, ChatGPT has one built into it. Here's an interior design Colab GPT. I have a funny story about this one. My wife gets tired of our house sometimes. Does anybody else, like, is that you or your spouse, or does anybody ever get tired of the house? You're like, I want to live somewhere else, and so we're like, we got our kids in school. We're not moving anywhere anytime soon, right? But Tracy, we're like, she goes, I hate she just walks in one day. She's like, I hate our bathroom. In my head, I'm like, oh, here we go. This is going to be a $75,000 bathroom remodel, 50. I don't know. It's a lot of money that we're about to spend on this bathroom because my wife hates it. And so instead, I just went here. I took some video of our bathroom, right? And I asked it to help me redesign our bathroom. And so for, $800 of new towels and some new stuff and a little redesign and a picture on the wall instead of $25, $50, $75,000 for a bathroom remodel, Tracy Sloan. Like, yeah, this one saved me a ton personally. This one might be cool for you if you're that person that every March, as April's on the doorstep, you're like, oh my God, I gotta do my taxes again. I hate this thing. What about if all year long you just had an AI that was just monitoring your email and making sure that every receipt and invoice that came in got plucked out of there? And it was all just sitting back there categorized and waiting for you when March and April rolls around next year? Tracy, this is another one I could probably, since you're a Brivity customer already, I might be able to get you access to this a little earlier. So we're testing out call recording and summarizing. So Brivity got some functionality right now that will record every phone call you guys make on your Brivity number, either in or out. And then it will allow you to go and play it back and listen to it. It will do a written transcript of it. And at the very end, it'll do a little summary where it will take that entire conversation, it'll summarize it, and then in bullet points, it'll call out anything that either party agreed to do during that phone call. So I had a guy the other day, because in about 13 states in the United States, we have to do two-party consent, which means it has to play the little message that says, please note this call is being recorded for quality assurance at the very beginning of the call on every single one of their calls. He was in Florida. It's a two-party consent state. And he said to me, no way, I'm not using this. I hate that message at the front. And I said, do me a favor. Use it for one day. Just use it for one day. Tell me, and then at the end of that, I want you to come back to me and I want you to tell me how many people hung up on you because that message played or said no. So he agreed he'd do it for one day. When he came back, I said, all right, how many calls did you make yesterday? He said, I made 50 calls yesterday. I spoke to like 18 people, answered the phone of the 50 calls that I made. That's actually a really good answer rate for a given day. I said, how many of those 18 hung up? He said, funny enough, one lady was like, I'm good. I don't even know who you are. I don't want to talk to you. And she hung up. So the other 17 didn't. I said, okay, so is that like a no for you? Like, is 1 out of 18 like a no go? He goes, honestly, I don't even care about that anymore. He goes, you know what's crazy? He's like, this thing takes better notes than I've ever taken in my life, and I don't have to take them. He's like, normally if I talk to somebody, it takes me a minute when I'm done to just type in those notes. He's like, I have a really long conversation. It might take me 4 minutes. Think about like, there's a guy I love, John Cheplick and Dustin Runyon, those guys, and they talk about 20 contacts a day. Just think if you made 20 contacts every single day in your real estate business and you took a minute to write the notes on that. That's 20 minutes a day just writing notes. How many minutes a week is that writing notes? Just writing notes in your CRM, you guys. I want you to think about this for a second. If I talk to 20 people a day, 5 days a week, I'm spending 100 minutes every week writing notes in my CRM. If I did that, let's say I took 3 months off this year, I just did it 40 weeks this year. I'm spending 4,000 minutes writing notes, 4,000 minutes this year writing notes at a minute at a time. Because I'm going to talk to a whole bunch of people this year in my real estate business. How many hours is that? 66 hours I'm going to spend if I only work 40 hours or 40 weeks this year. I'm going to spend 66 hours writing notes in my database. Brivity call summaries, reporting, that's right around the corner for you. Okay, here's the deal. If you're a Brivity client, you can reach out to me and I'm telling you guys, I might be able to light up some of these things that we're testing in the background as long as they've passed the final kind of legal compliance checks, because I don't want to get any of us in trouble legally. If you're not a Brivity customer and you're interested in how you can get your text platform to 59559 right now, like you waited here through this, you owe it to yourself to go talk to one of our folks and really get the nuts and the bolts. Because I just talked about the AI stuff. The Brivity platform has everything you need to run your real estate business all in one place. Everything. It's got transaction management. It's got your website. It's got the CRM. It's got all the marketing suite that you need. We've got a team here that can help you generate leads if you don't have enough leads in your database. It has auto plans with texting functionality. It's got a dialer. It's got lead routing. It's got all the things. It was built by Ben Kinney, a guy that built these things to help himself grow his real estate business. And when he realized it worked, his friends all started saying, can I have that thing? Today, we've got about 3,500 teams and agents that run their business off of the Brivity platform. If you're interested in why they made that decision, text platform to 59559 and one of our best folks will reach out to you. Tracy, I'll expect an email from you, bob@benkinney.com. The rest of you guys, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, Tracy, she's like, oh, that receipt one, that's a good one. I'm going to go use that right now. I hate collecting all my stuff in March, and we're halfway through this year. So you guys got that fun game coming again here in 6 more months. Chris Clark, appreciate you for joining, my friend. You guys have an awesome afternoon in real estate, and we will see all of you guys again, hopefully very soon. My name is Bob Stewart. Bye-bye, everybody.